As the political landscape in the United States continues to evolve, a series of recent developments highlight the ambitions of various candidates and the shifting perspectives of the electorate. With the 2028 presidential race already generating buzz, notable figures like actor George Clooney and statistician Nate Silver have weighed in on potential front-runners for the Democratic nomination. Meanwhile, a grassroots challenge is emerging in Iowa, where a Democrat is targeting Republican Senator Joni Ernst with a focus on working-class issues. On the national front, George Clooney recently endorsed Maryland Governor Wes Moore as a leading candidate for the Democratic nomination in 2028. Clooney praised Moore's leadership during the Baltimore Key Bridge collapse last year, stating, "He has handled this tragedy beautifully." Clooney's support comes amid speculation about the future direction of the Democratic Party, particularly following a turbulent electoral cycle. Similarly, Nate Silver and his colleagues see Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez as a strong contender, citing her significant polling numbers and broad appeal across the Democratic base. Silver noted that Ocasio-Cortez's progressive lane could resonate well with voters, particularly as she has shifted her messaging to focus more on economic issues. As the political calculus shifts, partisanship continues to play a pivotal role in shaping public opinion, particularly regarding environmental issues. A recent Gallup poll revealed that nearly 57% of Americans believe the government is doing too little to protect the environment, marking a significant increase from previous years. Concerns surrounding climate change have seen a rise in urgency, particularly among Democrats, where 91% now feel that governmental action is insufficient. This growing discontent reflects a broader sentiment that environmental quality is declining, with 62% of respondents expressing pessimism about the future. In Iowa, Nathan Sage, a Democrat and executive director of the Knoxville Chamber of Commerce, has declared his candidacy to challenge Senator Joni Ernst. Sage aims to address the struggles faced by working-class Iowans, drawing from his personal experiences growing up in a factory worker's family. "I know the struggle of small businesses. I know how hard it is to be a working-class person and just to survive," he stated, highlighting the disconnect between current congressional representation and the needs of everyday Americans. Sage's campaign will focus on improving healthcare, increasing wages, and making life more affordable for working-class citizens, positioning himself as a voice for those often overlooked by politicians. These developments underscore a growing awareness among voters of the need for representatives who truly understand and advocate for their concerns. As candidates like Sage emerge, they face the challenge of overcoming incumbency advantages and navigating the complexities of party primaries. As the 2028 election cycle approaches, the interplay of public sentiment, environmental urgency, and candidate viability will undoubtedly shape the future of American politics. In conclusion, the interplay between emerging candidates and shifting public perceptions presents a dynamic landscape for the upcoming political contests. As Democrats seek to reposition themselves ahead of the 2028 election, the focus on leadership that resonates with working-class values could play a crucial role in determining their success. The evolving discourse on environmental issues further highlights the urgency for policy-driven solutions that address the needs of the electorate. As the political arena heats up, the outcomes of these races may redefine both party strategies and voter expectations in the years to come. In a rapidly evolving political landscape, New York Republican Representative Elise Stefanik is reportedly considering a run for governor, a move that could reshape the dynamics of the upcoming election. Stefanik, who has gained prominence within the GOP as a vocal supporter of former President Donald Trump, has not yet made an official announcement but is actively weighing her options. This potential candidacy comes at a time when the New York political scene is rife with challenges and opportunities for both parties. Stefanik's name has emerged as a prominent contender in the race following the announcement that current Governor Kathy Hochul will seek re-election. The New York political climate is particularly charged, with high-profile issues such as crime, economic recovery, and education reform taking center stage. Stefanik's ability to tap into the state's Republican base, which has been energized by national trends favoring GOP candidates, could be crucial in a state that has leaned Democratic in recent years. Political analysts note that Stefanik's experience in Congress and her alignment with Trump's policies may resonate with voters who are increasingly frustrated with the status quo. Elise has demonstrated considerable appeal among conservative voters, and her potential run could galvanize the Republican base, said political strategist Michael M. However, she will need to broaden her appeal to attract independent voters and disenchanted Democrats. The implications of Stefanik's candidacy extend beyond New York. Should she enter the race, it could serve as a bellwether for the GOP's strategy in the 2025 elections. The Republican Party is at a crossroads with internal divisions over its direction and messaging. Stefanik's alignment with Trump may either attract his loyal base or alienate moderate Republicans who are wary of the former president's influence. As the campaign unfolds, key issues are likely to dominate the discourse. Crime rates in New York City and the broader state have been a significant concern for voters, with many calling for tougher policies. Additionally, the economy remains a hot topic, particularly as New Yorkers recover from the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. Stefanik will need to articulate a clear vision on these issues to resonate with constituents. Moreover, her potential candidacy raises questions about the future of the Republican Party in New York. With a state party apparatus that has struggled to gain traction against the overwhelming Democratic majority, Stefanik's involvement could invigorate efforts to reclaim lost ground. Her entry into the race could inspire a new wave of Republican candidates and energize grassroots activism, noted in Thompson, a political commentator. In conclusion, as Elise Stefanik contemplates her next steps, the political landscape in New York remains fluid. Her potential candidacy for governor could signal a renewed Republican effort to challenge the Democratic stronghold in the state. As the 2025 election approaches, all eyes will be on how she navigates both party dynamics and voter concerns, potentially shaping the future of New York politics for years to come. The upcoming months will reveal whether she formally announces her campaign and how she positions herself amid the pressing issues facing New York voters. In a significant move that could reshape the political landscape in Michigan, Abdul El-Sayed, a former public health official and progressive voice, has officially entered the race for the state's open U.S. Senate seat. This announcement, made on April 17, 2025, positions El-Sayed as a key contender in a race anticipated to draw considerable attention in the lead-up to the 2026 midterm elections. He becomes the second Democrat to announce his candidacy this week, following State Senator Mallory McMorrow, as incumbent Democratic Senator Gary Peters opts not to seek re-election. El-Sayed, who previously ran for governor in 2018, is known for his strong progressive stance and has garnered support from notable figures including Senator Bernie Sanders. Reflecting on the challenges many Americans face, El-Sayed stated, "It's way too hard to survive here in the richest, most powerful country in the world, and it should not be this hard to get by." His campaign will likely resonate with voters who are disillusioned with the current state of American politics and the economy. As a former director of the Department of Health, Human and Veterans Services in Wayne County, El-Sayed has made a name for himself through a series of impactful public health initiatives. His tenure includes significant achievements such as improving access to healthcare, removing lead from schools, and ensuring that children in need receive essential medical supplies. Notably, he launched a program aimed at alleviating medical debt for Michiganders, which is expected to cancel up to $700 million in debt for around 300,000 residents over 2 years. In his campaign launch video, El-Sayed outlined his vision for a government that prioritizes the needs of the people over the interests of billionaires, stating, "We need to break the chokehold that billionaires and oligarchs like Donald Trump and Elon Musk have on our politics and economy." He emphasized the necessity of a government that guarantees healthcare, clean air and water, and affordable housing, echoing sentiments that resonate deeply with many constituents in Michigan. El-Sayed's grassroots approach aims to build a coalition that can effectively challenge the far right in the upcoming general election. He believes that Democrats must not only oppose Republican policies but also present their own comprehensive solutions to earn public trust. You have to come with your own independent analysis of what you think the problem is and how you want to solve it, he asserted, highlighting the need for a proactive and solution-oriented campaign. Alongside El-Sayed and McMorrow, other Democratic figures considering a run include U.S. Representative Haley Stevens and Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel. On the Republican side, former U.S. Representative Mike Rogers has also thrown his hat in the ring after a narrow loss in a previous Senate contest. As the political climate continues to evolve and the primary season approaches, all eyes will be on this burgeoning Senate race in Michigan. El-Sayed's entry marks the beginning of what promises to be a competitive battle for the seat, with the potential to redefine not only the state's political dynamics but also the broader narrative of the Democratic Party's direction in the coming years. With an energized base and a clear vision, El-Sayed's campaign is poised to make waves in both local and national political arenas. In a political landscape that is increasingly characterized by contentious debates and shifting alliances, two significant developments are unfolding in the U.S. Congress that could reshape the dynamics of representation and economic policy. On one side, Nevada County Supervisor, a prominent local leader, is preparing to challenge Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley in the upcoming congressional elections, while on the other, a growing contingent of Senate Republicans is advocating for greater congressional oversight of tariff policies following President Trump's controversial imposition of new import taxes. The Nevada County Supervisor's entry into the race against Kiley is notable for several reasons. As a local official with a firm grasp on the needs and concerns of her constituents, she represents a grassroots approach to politics that contrasts sharply with Kiley's established presence. Her campaign is expected to focus on issues such as healthcare, environmental sustainability, and economic growth, leveraging her experience in local governance to appeal to voters seeking a representative who prioritizes community needs over partisan politics. The supervisor stated, "We need to bring the voice of Nevada County to Washington, ensuring our values and priorities are represented in Congress." Meanwhile, in Washington, Republican senators are increasingly expressing their concerns regarding the economic repercussions of President Trump's tariff policies. A bipartisan bill introduced by Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa and Democrat Maria Cantwell of Washington aims to require congressional approval for new tariffs, a move that has garnered support from several influential Republicans, including Mitch McConnell and Lisa Murkowski. The bill seeks to terminate any new tariffs within 60 days unless explicitly approved by Congress, reflecting a growing unease among lawmakers about the potential for economic backlash. As the stock market reacts negatively to the uncertainty surrounding these tariffs, economists warn that the long-term effects could lead to price increases and a potential recession. Senator Jerry Moran of Kansas emphasized the need for a more nuanced approach to trade policy, stating, "Every state has unique industries that are impacted differently by changes in global markets and trade policies." This sentiment resonates with many lawmakers who are under pressure from constituents affected by fluctuating prices and retaliatory tariffs. The unfolding political drama surrounding tariffs has highlighted not only the divisions within the Republican Party but also the broader implications for U.S. trade policy. Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina has voiced his concerns about the impact on his state's agriculture industry, indicating that the situation has sparked significant feedback from local farmers facing the threat of retaliatory tariffs. Tillis remarked, "If all we're doing is set it and forget it and not trying to take the edge off of this, I believe there will be an increasing number of people saying that we need to have oversight." As these developments unfold, it remains to be seen how the political dynamics will play out in both the congressional race and the ongoing debate over tariffs. The Nevada County Supervisor's challenge to Kiley could invigorate local political engagement, while the increasing bipartisan support for tariff oversight may signal a shift towards a more collaborative approach to trade policy in Congress. With the midterm elections approaching and economic uncertainties looming, both narratives will be pivotal in shaping the future direction of U.S. governance and economic strategy. The coming months will undoubtedly reveal whether these movements can translate into substantive change or if they will remain as mere reflections of the current political climate. In recent developments surrounding the authority of the Supreme Court and the Trump administration, a significant legal confrontation has emerged that calls into question the balance of power within the U.S. government. On April 17, 2025, the Supreme Court issued a ruling directing the Trump administration to facilitate the release of Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, a father from El Salvador who was wrongfully detained in a U.S. facility. This ruling not only underscored the court's role as the arbiter of constitutional interpretation but also highlighted the potential for a constitutional crisis as the administration appears to be disregarding the court's directives. The case of Abrego Garcia is particularly striking. He had lived in the U.S. under protected status since 2019 yet was sent to a detention center in El Salvador violating a prior court order. The Supreme Court's unanimous decision criticized the administration's actions and instructed it to clarify its position regarding Abrego Garcia's release. David French, an opinion columnist, emphasized the gravity of the situation, stating that the Trump administration is on the brink of defying the Supreme Court, which could lead to a crisis of constitutional proportions reminiscent of pivotal moments in American history. French draws parallels between the current state of affairs and historical precedents where the Supreme Court faced immense pressure. He cites cases such as Dred Scott v. Sanford and Plessy v. Ferguson, where the court failed to uphold constitutional principles amidst societal upheaval. However, he also references the landmark decision of Brown v. Board of Education, where the court stood firm against segregation despite political resistance. This raises the question of whether the current court will uphold its constitutional duties in the face of potential defiance from the executive branch. As the Trump administration's response unfolds, it has become increasingly apparent that it is sidestepping the court's authority. Not only did President Trump misrepresent the ruling as a victory, but his administration has also shown little inclination to comply with the court's orders, raising concerns among legal scholars and citizens alike. The implications of this standoff extend far beyond the immediate case of Abrego Garcia, suggesting a larger struggle over the rule of law and the boundaries of presidential power. Legal experts such as Judge Jeffrey Sutton of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit have noted that the judiciary lacks the enforcement mechanisms to compel compliance from the executive branch, which could leave the court's rulings impotent if the administration chooses to ignore them. The potential for this scenario is alarming, as French warns that continued defiance could challenge the very foundations of American democracy. In the broader context, the Supreme Court's decisions resonate with moral authority, standing as a testament to the nation's commitment to constitutional values. French argues that while the court may not have the power to enforce its rulings, its decisions can still serve as a catalyst for public accountability and political change. He envisions a scenario where a united public motivated by a desire to uphold the Constitution could ultimately compel compliance from elected officials who defy judicial orders. The current political landscape, characterized by deep divisions and a polarized electorate, poses significant challenges for the rule of law. French suggests that as citizens become increasingly aware of the stakes involved, there may be an opportunity for a resurgence of civic engagement that could hold those in power accountable. The path forward may not be straightforward, but the court's role as a guardian of constitutional integrity remains vital in navigating these tumultuous waters. In conclusion, as the Supreme Court and the Trump administration continue to clash over issues of authority and accountability, the outcomes of these legal battles will likely have far-reaching consequences for the future of American democracy. The ongoing confrontation raises critical questions about the power dynamics between branches of government and the enduring significance of the rule of law in the United States. As this situation unfolds, observers will be keenly watching to see how both the judiciary and the executive respond to this unprecedented challenge.